mm, mm, mm. Just second, please. Okay. Okay. The focus is done. I'm sorry. I'm just okay. Yeah. Okay.
We were on
I'll.
page 86. That
Yeah.
figure
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. The
That
figure is in. Yeah. It's 85
of
in mine.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Of
A
the
phoenix
Phoenix.
figure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
We
I
were
will
there.
start. Yeah. I'll
Below
start
these
from the.
words.
Yeah. I'll start. Okay. Below these words on the industrial back was an image of a phoenix rising from the flames. It looked exactly like this. I so need this, the entrepreneur said. I know my productivity, gratefulness, and calmness would improve so much if I had some personal time every morning before it all gets so hectic. Me too, said the artist. An hour to myself every morning to reflect and prepare would be a game changer for my art and for my life. The spellbinder taught me early on that investing 60 minutes in developing my best self and my greatest skills during that, what he called the victory hour, would transform the way the rest of my life unfolded mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. He promised it would give me one of those gargantuan competitive advantages we have discussed yesterday and lead to the formation of absolute empires of creativity, money, joy, and helpfulness to humanity. And I need to say, he was completely right. Anywho, chirped the billionaire. Back to the concept of capitalization and the importance of intelligently exploiting whatever primal gifts you have been given. Too many among us have bought into the collective hypnosis that those with extraordinary skill are cut from a different cloth and have been divinely blessed by the gods of exceptional talent. But that just ain't so, observed the billionaire, a wisp of his farm boy manner emerging. Dedication and discipline beats brilliance and giftedness every day of the week. And A players don't get lucky, they make lucky. Each time you resist a temptation and pursue an optimization, you invigorate your heroism. Every instant you do that which you know to be the right over the thing that you know that you feel would be easy, you facilitate your entry into the hall of fame of epic achievers. The billionaire stared at a gigantic seagull clutching its slimy breakfast. He then released a loud burp. Oops. So sorry. He spoke in the tone of apology. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of the latest research emerging on successful people is confirming that our private story about our potential is the key performance indicator on whether we actually exploit that potential. What do you mean? Requested the entrepreneur as she stopped taking notes on a device to look into the eyes of the billionaire, who now put on a tight t shirt that read, Victims have big TVs, leaders own large libraries. Wow. Hmm. Well, if you're running a mental narrative that says that you don't have what it takes to be a superb leader in business or an acclaimed expert of your craft, then you won't even start the adventure of getting there, will you? And world class is a process, not an event. Running a limiting psychological program that says everyday people can't become great or genius is born, not developed, will cause you to think it would be a complete waste of time to do the studying, put in the practice hours, and prioritize your days around your heartfelt desires. What would be the point of investing all that labor, vigor, and time and making all the sacrifices when virtuoso level results are impossible for someone like you under your belief system? And then, because your daily behavior is always a function of your deepest beliefs, that very perception of your inability to realize victory becomes real. Noted the billionaire. Human beings are hardwired to act in alignment with our self identity. Always. You never rise higher than your personal story. Important insight there. He then peered out into the ocean at a small fishing boat with a net strewn across the end of it. A fisherman in a red shirt was smoking a cigarette as he navigated the vessel away from some dangerous coral reef. The billionaire mumbled another mantra to himself: I am grateful and I am forgiving. I am giving. My life is beautiful, creative, productive, prosperous, and magical. I think we need to remember this every day.
True.
Then he continued the discussion around capitalization. The positive psychologists call the way we embrace a story about who we are and what we can achieve, and then behave in a way that makes that fantasy actually come true. The self fulfilling prophecy. We subconsciously adopt a thinking pattern by learning it from the people who most influence us at an early age: our parents, our teachers, and our friends. Then we act according to it. And since what we do creates the results we see, this generally faulty personal story becomes a reality of our own causing. Amazing, right? That's how most of us operate through the best years of our lives. The world is a mirror, and we get from life not what we want, but what that which we are. And I guess that the more we accept that core belief about our inability to produce excellent results in whatever it is we hope to do, the more we not only reinforce it, so it becomes a trusted conviction, but we also deepen the behavior that's associated with it. So it becomes a daily habit. Recited the artist, sounding professorish instead of bohemian in the pure morning air. Wonderfully said, replied the billionaire excitedly. I love the trusted conviction idea. That's good. You should share that phrase with the spellbinder if you see him today. I think he's out fishing, but knowing him, he'll be getting some sun here on this beach later in the morning. The billionaire continued. Every human being has an instinct for greatness, a hunger for the heroic, and a psychic need to rise towards the heavens of their finest capability, whether we remember this consciously or not. A lot of us have been minimized and pushed down so much by the dark and toxic influences around us, we've forgotten all we truly are. We've become masters of compromise, slowly and steadily allowing in more aspects of mediocrity until a point arrives where it's a standard operating system. Real leaders never negotiate their standards. They know there's always room to improve. They understand that we are most connected to our sovereign nature when we are reaching for our best. Alexander the Great once said, I am not afraid of an army of lions led by a sheep. I'm afraid of a sheep led by a lion. Army of sheep led by a lion. The billionaire inhaled audibly. A butterfly fluttered by, and a crab scampered past him. I'm here to remind you, he carried on, that each one of us holds a profound capacity for leadership within us. And as you know, I'm not speaking of leadership in the sense of having a title, a lofty position, or needing some formal authority. What I'm referring to is so much more weighty and exquisite than that. It's the true power inside a human heart versus the transitory power delivered by a big office, a fast car, and a large bank balance. What I'm speaking of is the potency to do work that is so great we just can't take our eyes off you, the capability to create massive value in your marketplace, the capacity to impact and disrupt an entire industry, and the power to live with honor, nobility, audacity, and integrity so that you fulfill your opportunity to make history in your own original way. Doesn't matter if you're a CEO or a janitor, a billionaire or a ditch digger, a movie star or a student. If you're alive today, you have the ability to lead without a title and make your mark on the world, even if you don't currently believe you can due to the limits of your current perception. Your perception isn't reality. It just isn't. It's just your current perception on reality. Kindly remember that. It's simply the lens you happen to be looking at reality through at this moment of your ascent towards world class. Makes me think of the words of the German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, who wrote, most people take the limits of their vision to be the limits of the world. A few do not. Join them. So there's a large difference between reality and our perception of reality, right? And inquired the entrepreneur. It seems from what you're saying that it's almost as if we see the world through a filter that's made up of all our personal programming. And we run the program so much, we get brainwashed into believing that the way we are seeing the world is real, right? You've got me rethinking the way I see everything now, she admitted as the skin on her forehead scrunched together like a rose contracting in the cold. I'm beginning to question so much, she went on, why I started my business in the first place, why social status is so important to me, why I have such urges to eat in the sleekest restaurants, live in the best neighborhoods, and drive the most stylish cars. I think part of the reason I've been so crushed by the takeover attempt of my company is because I get my identity as a human being from being the founder. Honestly, I've been so busy driving my career, I haven't stopped for gas in terms of really thinking things through and living intentionally. And it's like the three-step success formula you taught us yesterday. As I develop better daily awareness around myself and why it is that I do what I do, I'll make better daily choices that will give me better daily results. The entrepreneur was unstoppable. I have no clue what my authentic values are, what I want to represent as a leader, why I'm building what I'm building, what really makes me happy, and how I want to be remembered when I'm no longer here. The story of that CEO and the stroke of that editor really spoke to me. Life really is super fragile. And now that I'm speaking so openly? I think I've been spending many days chasing the wrong things, stuck in the noise of complexity instead of hearing the signal of those top value pursuits in my career and in my private life that would really make a difference. And I think about the past a lot. What happened to me in my childhood? I also haven't had any time for any friendships. I have no real passions. I've never watched the sunrise until now, and I never found true love, said the entrepreneur as she as anxiously rubbed her bracelet. So I will read till 9:45, Taranjit. We'll have a 5-minute break where we discuss, and I'll read for 10 more minutes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The entrepreneur looked over to the artist. Until now. Tears filled his eyes. Trillions of planets in this universe, he pronounced. Billions of people on our planet, and I was fortunate enough to meet you. The entrepreneur smiled and then proceeded to respond in a gentle tone. I hope I never lose you. Don't be so hard on yourself, interjected the billionaire. We're all on our paths. Know what I mean? We are all exactly where we need to be to receive the growth lessons we are meant to learn. And a problem will persist until you get the education it showed up to bring. And I do agree with you that human beings have a tragic habit of remembering the things that would be smart to forget, and forgetting the wonderful things it would be wise to remember. Anywho, I understand you. Please just trust the highest and wisest part of you. Trust that the highest and the wisest part of you is leading you. There are no accidents on this path to legendary and making of a life that matters. And if you ask me, there is nothing wrong with magnificent homes, fast cars, and lots of money. I really need you to hear me on that. Please, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. As the old saying goes, having plenty of money is what life wants for you. Abundance is nature's way. There's no scarcity of flowers, lemon trees, and stars in the sky. Money allows you to do superb things for yourself and for the people who you care most about, and offers you the chance to help those in need. A tourist water skiing behind a speedboat zoomed by. You could hear him laughing with glee. I'll let you in on a little secret, then Magnate continued. I have given away most of my vast liquid fortune. Yes, I still have the jets and the Zurich flat and this oceanside place. And though my business interests are still valued at an amount that makes me a billionaire, I need none of it. I'm not attached to any of this. I read a story that I think you'll like, shared the artist. Kurt Vonnegut, the writer, and Joseph Heller, the author of Catch 22, were at a party hosted by a renowned financier on Long Island. Vonnegut asked his companion how it felt to know that their host had made more money in the day before the gala than he had made from all the royalties of his best-selling book. Heller replied, I've got something he can never have. Vonnegut asked, what on earth could that be, Joe? Heller's reply was priceless. The knowledge that I've got enough. Wow. Brilliant, enthused the billionaire. Love it, he shouted inappropriately loudly as he high fived the artist. He then performed the little dance he loved to do when he was happy, yet again before launching into a series of jumping jacks. His eyes were closed as he did them. Such an oddball. The artist went on talking. Anyway, I understand what you're teaching us on this point about capitalizing and the self fulfilling prophecy. No one will believe in our ability to do great things until we first believe in our greatness and then put in the sincere and rigorous effort to realize it. You know what Pablo Picasso once said? Tell us, please, implored the entrepreneur. Her stance showing that she was very open in this instance. Picasso announced, my mother said to me, if you are a soldier, you will become a general. If you are a monk, you will become the Pope. Instead, I was a painter and and became Picasso. Wow. Gnarly, man, the billionaire remarked. Now that's faith and confidence in one's potential. The billionaire ran a fist through his tanned chin, looking down at the white sand for a moment. And it's not only our parents who are responsible for the limited programs most people are running through their minds through their finest through during the finest hours of their greatest days. Like I said, like I suggested, many well meaning yet unaware teachers reinforce the idea that the heroic geniuses of the arts, sciences, sports, and humanities are special, and that we need to accept that we are ordinary, incapable of producing towering work that leaves people breathless by its excellence and generating a life that is matchless. And when we have the association of our friends and relentless messaging of the media supporting the same facts. Essentially, it all becomes this consistent hypnotization where, without us even knowing it, the once blazing fire of genius within us grows dimmer, and the once passionate voices of possibility get quieter. We minimize our abilities and begin a lifelong process of playing small with our powers and constructing prisons around our strengths. We stop behaving as leaders, creative producers, and possibilitarians, and we start acting as victims. Disappointing what happens to so many good people. And most of us can't see this brainwashing away from our best selves happening, reflected the entrepreneur. Yup, responded the billionaire. Even worse, the potential unexpressed turns to pain. I need to empathize. What do you mean by that? Wondered the artist, turning his eyes away and shifting his posture somewhat nervously. Maybe I'm sabotaging creating art as original and exceptional as the great masters did, because I've avoided capitalizing on my potential for so long that I'm hurting deep inside. The artist thought to himself. Well, our noblest selves know the truth. Each of us are built to do astonishing things with our human gifts and materialize astounding feats with our productive talents. The word astonish is actually derived from the Latin word extonere, which means to leave someone thunderstruck. Every single person alive today carries the capacity deep within their hearts and spirits to do this. The more we decrease the volume of our unhealthy narrative, which neurobiologically speaking is a creation of our limbic system, the more we will hear the sublime call on ourselves, on our on ourselves to rise up to the blatant expression of our greatest genius. This is true whether you're a supervisor within a large corporation organization, a programmer in a small cubicle, a teacher in school, or a chef in a restaurant. You absolutely have the capacity to lift your work to the level of artistry and have an impact for the betterment of humanity. And yet we resign ourselves to apathy because of this faulty perception of who we truly are and what we can generally accomplish, staying violently stuck in alive lives. And here's the really big idea: as we betray our true power, a part of us starts to die, noted the billionaire. Dramatic insight, acknowledged the artist. I seriously need to make some massive changes. I'm tired of feeling tired and neglecting my creative abilities. I'm beginning to get I'm special. You are, affirmed the entrepreneur. You are, she repeated in a voice of tenderness. I'll read this page and we'll stop, Taranjit. Hmm?
Okay, okay, okay.
I'm also starting to see that I care too much about what others think. Some of my friends make fun of my paintings and they say I'm a screwball behind my back. I'm realizing they just don't understand me and my vision for my art. Many of the great geniuses of the world were not appreciated until decades after they died, the billionaire offered in a murmur. And on that point about your friends, I'm not sure you're surrounding yourself with the right ones. And maybe now it's time to do you rather limit, okay, maybe it's time to do you rather than limiting your talent and aliveness because you are seduced by the opinions of others. Kurt Cobain said it better than I ever could. I was tired of pretending I was someone else just to get along with people, just for the sake of having friendship. The art was the artist's only response. What I'm sharing is accurate. We become our association, and you'll never have the positive influence in your field and make a beautiful life if you hang with the negative people, continued the billionaire. Oh, and that pain I was just speaking about, if not attended to and released, starts to form a deep reservoir of fear and self hatred within us. Most of us don't have the awareness or possess the tools to process through this well of suppressed anguish. Many of us are unconscious to this quiet torment created by the disrespect we have shown to our promise. And we deny that if someone even suggests it, we flee from it because when presented with an opportunity to manifest it, and we subconsciously develop a series of soul crushing escape routes to avoid feeling this pain generated by our talents denied. Like what? Quizzed the entrepreneur. Addictions like constantly checking for messages or scanning for likes or spending vast chunks of our daily lives watching too much TV shows have become so superb these days. It's so easy to get hooked. And when one episode ends on another viewing platform, the next one begins automatically. Many people I'm sorry,
Many
many among us, one
sorry.
second, on some viewing platforms, the next one begins automatically. Many among us also make flights from their greatness by chatting and gossiping endlessly, not really understanding that there is a staggering difference between being busy and being productive. High impact performers and genuine world class builders aren't very available to whoever seeks their attention and demands their time. They're hard to reach, waste few moments, and are far more focused on doing real work versus artificial work. So they deliver the breathtaking results that advance our world. Our avoidance tactics from the pain of potential unexpressed are hours mindlessly surfing online, electronic shopping, working too much, drinking too much, eating too much, complaining too much, and sleeping too much. Okay, I will stop here.
Yeah.
And Taranjit, what is your takeaway?
First thing, that quote that was there on his t-shirt: victims have large TVs and legends have big libraries. That is something really very good. That is what we are doing. We have like I have been always telling this. I'm a very like watching TV is not my cup of tea. I would rather prefer reading a book rather than watching TV. And
Good.
second thing, that quote that they have written, it is superb. It's really gone inside my heart. It's
Hmm.
my soul, I would say. I'm grateful and I'm forgiving. I am giving. My life is beautiful, creative, productive, prosperous, and magical. This is really so nice.
I know.
Um, yeah, something I would like to share. Just today only, like my management had called me. I had spoken to Meera about it. That there is some rough patch going on, and
Yeah, I
I'm so
know.
thankful. I'm so thankful to one girl who stays with me. She's like a paying guest. She stays with me. She told
Uh-huh.
me, and one of my cousin and one of my friends also. They said, "See, you strongly believe in God, and you strongly believe that everything happens for the best. So why do you want to hold on? You are a person who always lets goes. So do whatever the other person is saying." And
Hmm.
when I went to meet my coordinator, she told me, "You resign." And I said, "Yes, madam. Okay, I will send my resignation." And she was
Okay.
just looking at my face, that how easily she has told me this.
Hmm.
Otherwise, if somebody would have been in my position, they would have fought, definitely
Ex-
fought. But I
exactly.
but I always think that yes, it's very hard to let go, very hard to let go. And if you can do that, what he says, that the knowledge that I have enough is the bestest thing, the best thing that you can all anytime realize in your life. My grandmother, I would say this in Hindi, I don't know how to put it in English. So my grandmother always used to say कि पेट की भूख किसी की भी मिठाई जा सकती है, बट आंख की भूख नहीं मिठाई जा सकती.
So
The
what it says in English is a man's needs can be met, greed can't.
Yeah, but that was something I have really learned throughout my life. I have always seen my father as an inspiration, and whatever this author is, Mr. Robin Sharma is saying, we have read it in Simon Sinek's Why also. Many of the points are same, but the same thing. My father, I have seen him. He always used to. And one more thing, I'm sorry, but I'm so overwhelmed today. That now one of my child recently, now just now, an hour back, he came to me. He is in US, and
Uh-huh.
he had come. He called me, "Ma'am, where are you?" I said, "I'm home." I said, "Come home." Bola, "Nahi, nahi, you come out, we'll sit in the restaurant." And like, he has done so much of recording of me. Like, "Ma'am, these were the things we forget, but now I'm going to keep a recording of it so that whenever I am low, I will remember this." So
That's so sweet. I'm sure you're
to
touched beyond
really, really, I'm
words.
so grateful. I'm so grateful to God for giving me such. I don't know. I am not a very huge person who might, but I'm very sure that yes, I would leave my legacy behind, and that is something I'm really grateful for. I am not rich, but definitely these children, those who are carrying my thoughts forward, that is something my legacy going on. He did a recording. I always say these two phrases like which I have coined.
Yeah.
Excuses are the nails on which houses of failure are built.
Uh-huh.
And second is, you can take the horse to the water, but can't make it drink. So
True.
this is a philosophy of my life. Because to do some work, you never need an excuse. You are motivated, you will do it on your own. you
True.
will you will find a way to do it anyhow, like what the author is saying, or what we have read in Simon Sinek's book also, that ep- like anything that you want to do, you don't need any appreciation for that, you will do it. But if you don't want to do anything, there are thousands and thousands of excuses for not doing anything.
True. True.
And something that is served to you on a platter, many a times we serve everything on a platter, but the eating part you have to do. I can give you knowledge, I can give you whatever the help that is required, but the working part, the doing part is the other person. You have to do it on you. I cannot walk that walk for you, that you only have to do it. So
And
this
how
was,
many people don't understand that? It's so sad.
it's really really what I'm reading through. I'm always in tears when you tell me to talk something, so I really need, I tell them wait for a minute, because the thing is, it is so uh, so heart touching. This is what I have gone through. This is what I have been taught from my father. I learned this. It is really very, I tell my children means all my children
Yeah,
throughout the
yeah, yeah.
world. I
Yeah.
tell them, see, this is a very difficult thing. I know you might be thinking, okay, what madam is saying. That's just a simple example. We had an annual day in the school, and
Uh-huh.
I told my teachers that my teachers were very angry with me. They were really very angry with me. I said, this year we are not going to do anything. Let the children do everything. We will be just a guide for them. Said, madam, itna time jayega. We will be wasting so much of time, so much of effort, so much. I said, nothing doing. We are not going to do anything. And that year, 2018, that was my first batch of this school where now I'm working.
Uh-huh.
That batch still date remembers, Bole, madam, what you taught us now, we didn't learn in our colleges. We didn't, when we went out for job, so when like in the college year, college festivals, I don't know, there all in Bangalore also might be there. College festivals are there. Here, every
Yeah,
college is
yeah, yeah.
having.
Yes,
So
yes.
they said our teachers were astonished that how do you know this all? I
True.
made them, you won't believe, one child who was the head boy of the school, Vaibhav Tripathi, just for an invitation, he made 290 calls. I told him, you
That's
go to the other room, you have to that perfect tone of the voice, the way you speak, that the other person should feel, yes, this is something going to be very great, and I have to attend this annual day function. Even though it would be
that's
simple or
lovely.
whatever, that is the way that he always says, ma'am, I couldn't learn anywhere. Like I would have paid so much of money in some polishing school or somewhere. I still remember you said, Weber, my battery has gone, 290th call, this has to be perfect. The way you the way you enter the office, you have to, ma'am, it is difficult. I said, nothing doing, I'm not listening. You have to do it. My teachers were really fed up that year. They said, madam, 15 days ho gaye hum practice kar rahe hain. I said, no problem, we will make it one more week later. But this annual day, we are not doing anything. The children only write from the scratch. The invite cards that they had made. My God,
Hmm.
so much. They told, ma'am, Google karenge. I said, nothing doing. I know what is Google. I don't want anything Google. You have to write it, and whatever you write, I will refine it. But you have to write and send it. And it was really a great thing. And this year the children have not got a chance. Then they were telling, today only I've told my management, I said, whenever the farewell is happening, just give me a chance. This would be I would say, a favor on me that you allow me to meet my children for the farewell.